Please help me welcome Greg Hirai.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mark Twain said that there are two kinds of speakers: those that admit to being nervous and those who are liars. So I promise you I will not lie to you today. But I will take this opportunity, though, to thank you all for the ability to be here today amongst all of you. I am very honored and humbled to be amongst this group of people with all of your accomplishments and successes. But I also want to recognize, too, though, that that success and those achievements did not come without a certain level of sacrifice and determination and difficulty at times. But yet we persevere, and we are always in search of that constant improvement. Something I think that we people in agriculture all share is that constant drive towards finding a way to do things better. Now, my late father, who was born in 1929, son of Japanese immigrants, grew up farming with his family in the backdrop of beautiful Idaho. And he would tell me a lot of stories about him spending many hours working in the fields, harvesting potatoes by hand. And spent a lot of time working fields, but also behind a horse, if you can imagine that. Talk about constant improvement. And he used to say that it was hard work, but he used to also like to joke that he was never too crazy about the design location of the horse's exhaust system. Anyway, so for him, constant improvement was them getting that first tractor. And I'm guessing it had a really tall smokestack. But it kept him in farming. And as I said, that improvement process doesn't always come without a certain level of difficulty. And I'm reminded of when I first got out of college, started my real education, as my dad used to like to call it. Times were tough for potato farmers. Times are tough for potato farmers often. But it was one of those times when supplies had far exceeded demand, and it just seemed like our old business models didn't work anymore. For those years, we put Northwest Farm Credit's commitment to agriculture and even handedness to the test, and I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. I can still remember that year after the season was over, visiting our accountant and him saying, "Young man, there's a silver lining in all this difficulty. So if you can find a way to somehow get through all this, you will have gotten a real education." Again, with a real education, I kept thinking, there's got to be a cheaper way to get a real education. So constant improvement for us was finding new alliances with our processor and local dairies, and mitigating risk and focusing on good production. Now, my parallel here is that with Northwest Farm Credit, there's always constant improvement going on. Little by little, over the last 10 years, we've seen our earnings and our capital levels increase by 100%, giving us the opportunity to find new ways to serve our customer owners, and also giving us the opportunity to return some of that success back to those of you who helped us achieve it in the form of patronage. And that is a very important and unique concept of our cooperative lending structure, and one that I'm very proud of Northwest for being able to do. But along with that also comes with a strong recognition for the safety and soundness of our association, one that we focus on quite a bit. And it's important because we understand that this association needs to be here, not just for our generation or the next, but for many after. I focus on that by maintaining strong financials, by maintaining good earnings, great capital levels, and good diversification, compliments to you all, but also things like rigorous stress testing and good asset and liability management, and good proactive management that has a deep understanding of agriculture and how it works. And keeping in mind also the valuable lessons of the past so that we're not destined to get that real education that my dad was talking about. But I think it's also important to mention our focus on even-handedness, especially now as we get into these difficult market conditions in some of agriculture. And while we cannot solve those market conditions, we can always do our level best to search for, recognize, and find those constructive solutions to those difficulties. Always keeping in mind that we will always be going in the direction not driven by those outside of agriculture investor perspectives, but by those of us within agriculture, those of us who have a customer-owner perspective. So I'm also very proud of Northwest and its continued commitment towards the cooperative principles of education and to their commitment to the next generation, whether it's their ever-expanding educational experiences or their support for succession planning or the programs for the young and beginning and small producers. I think that Northwest recognizes that a lot of our future success lies with their future success. I'm also incredibly proud of this association and its constant improvement and its long-term vision of agriculture. Northwest will never change course, never go searching for other industries to serve, and it will always understand that its past, its present, and its future will be closely connected to agriculture here in the Northwest. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 5 years, it's been my absolute privilege and pleasure to have served you in this position. And I thank you greatly for that opportunity. Thank you and take care.